Is the Switch 2 releasing this fiscal year? Let's make our best arguments for and against the possibility.
Eric, what is a fiscal year?
What, March to March, isn't it? One full year of when they do their
April.
business.
I wasn't trying to
Sorry,
test
March to
you. I
April.
just want to clarify for
listeners.
those listening that don't necessarily know what a fiscal year is.
Yes, it's what the business considers their financial,
Yeah.
what they consider a year for their
Financial
finances.
year.
Yes.
It's so weird. By the end of March,
Yep.
of 2025.
Yes. All right. What else
Yeah.
you got? Oh, there's more. There's more notes here.
No, I know. Yeah.
I was letting them know.
Oh, yes. In addition, we have a smidge of semi-related news. Nintendo is hiring a graphic designer to work directly with the bigwigs in Japan to design packaging and guidelines for it. It's seemingly new feature products and bundles. Suggests it's a position tied directly to packaging design for retail for the new platform.
Also,
the 1,000-year door has 4K support,
or at least code. They have code for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I was
talked about
excited
those
in the
things,
game.
but
Yeah.
so you combine all that together. Those two things, plus obviously we know about the rumors, right?
Mm-hmm.
The rumors are already out there about it being a March thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like you have a graphic guy who's like being hired right now. I mean, they don't have the person for it yet. The hiring post recently went up, where they're looking for a person to handle package design and work directly with the marketing teams and all that for marketing campaigns. And then you have the 1,000-year door showing, hey, we got this 4K thing in our code base. We're messing around with it. Why? Oh, Switch can't do it. So what's the point? Switch can't even output a 4K signal. It just doesn't do it. So why is this in there? Well, could it be that Switch 2 is coming sooner than some people expect? So yes, is it possible? What's the best arguments we have that this is going to happen this year, and then arguments against
This fiscal year.
this fiscal year? Yes, I got to clarify this fiscal year.
I mean, some people might still have the hopium that it comes out this year. But I feel like when you look at Nintendo's tweet and they talk about how they have a direct in June that's focused on the second half of 2024 for Switch 1 only, I think that kind of detail right there pretty much makes it really obvious that Switch 2 is not coming out this year. But that said, that doesn't mean it won't come out by the end of March. I mean, it's hard to make an argument if we ignore rumors. But I will say that a similar situation happened last year. Well, not last year, last generation, I should say. Back in 2016, there were reports that Switch 2 would come out in the holiday. Then all of a sudden, there was a delay, supposedly for software. And then, we heard from the Giga Leak that they kind of supported that notion. And yeah, Switch came out March, and they got a cross-gen version running for Breath of the Wild, which doesn't sound too different from getting a cross-gen version ready for Metroid Prime 4. But, there's a little bit of that. We do know that there were a lot of developers that were excited for Switch 2 at the beginning of this year, right? So, if the console was supposed to come out holiday, which there have been some dev that have somewhat indicated that, right? Then, or at least close, then the notion of it coming out March, as what a lot of reports are suggesting, including Midori, who's extremely reliable, it doesn't seem like an extreme stretch. Now there is a little bit of a fear here because Nintendo says they'll give us news within the fiscal year, not necessarily the release, right? So theoretically, we may not get news until like March of next year. The console doesn't come out till Christmas of 2025. But I'm gonna ride with March 2025 for now.
Yeah, I agree with you because they already basically announced it right now, like the pre-announcement.
Yeah.
And Furukawa said that they don't want to wait too long from announcing their console to releasing them. And yes, they haven't actually shown Switch 2 yet, but since they are actually acknowledging it right now, waiting till holiday of 2025, I think would be way too long. It leaves the Switch 1 out to dry a little bit too long there, I would say. So fiscal year, the start of the new fiscal year, brand new fiscal year for Nintendo, brand new console, brand new generation. I think we're getting it at least by April of 2025 is my guess. And I think all the reasons are there, all the rumors line up, all the information lines up, and Nintendo's own words kind of line up too with the timing of it. So I'm for that.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think if we take account all the rumors, right, and just I think the overall like census on everything, right? Like I think a lot of us really believed we were going to get Switch in 2024. It made sense based on the declining sales, just kind of where everything was at. The fact that Switch is just having a very hard time handling pretty simple games, right?
Mhm.
I reviewed the Contra on PS5, and I had a lot of people in my comments on the reviews say how bad it runs on Switch. It's like this game should not run poorly on the Switch. Okay, we've seen this many other instances. It's time for the new Switch. 2025 makes sense. March would be 8 years from when the Switch came out. 2025 makes sense because the NES came out, obviously I know because it came out the year I was born in 85. Makes sense to come out in 2025. Nintendo's 40th anniversary in North America. It definitely lines up. Now, if we're talking beginning of the year end, this June Direct's going to say a lot.
Yeah.
I personally gut feel it's going to be more towards the beginning of the year, like March, April. But I think after we see this June Direct and we see what they have planned, that's going to just say so much. Obviously, I'm hoping for a nice closeout for the Switch, hoping to see a lot of the games that we've talked about that we were hoping to see, like the Metroids, the 2 and 3, maybe the Zelda, Wind Waker and Twilight. Some things here and there that are nice things to have to be able to play portably on the Switch and to close it out. But I'm really not hoping for a lot outside of that, because if we do get a lot outside of that, it might be a lot longer. We might be waiting till more towards the end of 2025.
Yeah.
I mean, in the June Direct, if they announce like a big Switch game and say 2025, then that's really going to feel like, okay, yeah, maybe this thing's not coming out early next year.
Or there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
cross-gen games.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing is a cross-gen.
That's the goalpost moving.
Yeah.
I want to see a lot of cross-gen. I really do.
June Direct happens. All of a sudden, a couple days later, the rumors break. Oh, yeah, Nintendo sent out another letter. It's looking at June of 2025 at the earliest.
Well, Furukawa already said that this is going to be really hard to sell Switch hardware.
Yeah, he said that
forward.
this is extremely ambitious, the 13 and a half.
Yeah, so I don't know.
He sounded like he wasn't confident they were actually going to hit the target, but they're just like, hey, he said we like to set these targets because we feel it is a challenge. Yeah.
So that tells you their software for Switch 1 isn't really going to push hardware at this point.
But price drops, the right bundles this holiday.
A lot of
Mario Kart 8 bundle for
yeah.
Mario Kart, let's go.
On the Switch 1.0.
I also kind of think that this June Direct is going to be the last general like Switch 1 focused Direct.
I agree.
Yeah, agreed.
I made a video on it earlier this week, and I was trying to kind of like talk, like sort of explain that I actually thought that the September Direct from last year was supposed to be the last general Direct. And you look at how they put kind of like a summation of all their published titles coming in the next like half year or so at the end of that Direct. They don't do that ever. They'll put like a sizzle reel of games they haven't announced yet, but they'll never like sum up, hey, here's all the announcements we have from us, Nintendo, coming out for the next 6 months. To me, that September Direct almost felt like they were doing hey, these are the games we have coming for Switch 1. It's being supported. And when you think about that, how that was a unique ending to a Direct, and you think about how initially we were hearing that the Switch 2 was going to have like a reveal last March before the supposed delay, and we got a partner showcase in February, that partner showcase was going to happen regardless. I kind of think, assuming that all this delay stuff is true, that this Direct we're getting in June is them kind of changing plans around, figuring out what they have left for Switch and putting it together to get them over until early next year, which I think also kind of supports the idea that, yeah, they are running out of steam with Switch 1 and Switch 2 is going to come out in March.
So, Nintendo, what are you thinking about all this craziness, man? I haven't heard you in so long. I need your soothing voice.
No,
Take me home.
I think Switch 2 is going to be next year. I mean, I would love for it to be this year to carry on the momentum of what they have, or what they will have. But I agree. I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. I think this is going to be the last dedicated Switch Direct. I kind of think that January, February, we're going to hear about Switch 2, and then probably like a late spring launch. I think it is going to be a close, announced to launch. But yeah, any remasters, remakes you guys want, like this will be the direct for it. Like,
Yep. Prime 2 and 3.
Yeah. Prime 2, 3, Wind Waker, Twilight.
I
Be
need
a
that
great
bundle,
way to close it
baby.
out.
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
That too.
that would
Crazy
be cool.
it's
Sure.
not on there.
Why not?
But yeah, it's
That'd be
going to be
cool.
really telling. This direct is going to be really, really telling. It's going to be interesting to see like how strong Nintendo wants to end, because some people could say like Thousand Year Door is a good ending. So will they go light? Will they go with some major games? But
Right.
But it's
they
not
got to
the
carry
ending.
momentum
We got
too.
Luigi's Mansion 2. We got. Don't forget about the Nintendo World Championships, baby.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Can't wait.
oof,
I got it
Luigi-
pre-ordered,
Luigi's
Can't
15
wait
Mansion
for
million
that
2
sellers.
game
isn't
they made in 2
great.
weeks.
and I got the Japanese one pre-ordered with the
Hell yeah.
Famicom
Nice.
controllers.
To be
Nice.
fair, they got some sick bundles for those.
They do.
I do like the bundles.
It's a
Yeah.
collector's item.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic about it, but I do think it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Isn't there no online?
It
or
might
some weird
feel like
thing?
it should be an NSO title, but it's okay.
I kind of think so too.
Yeah, I think so too. But
And instead, we're going to spend $50 on it.
I think we're getting it for a reason to fill out that calendar as well.
It's
Yeah.
filler.
Yeah.
Bro. It's
Yeah.
filler.
Oh,
It's
hey.
that's totally a filler release. So much.
This
We
is all
totally
filler.
have something
This
coming
entire year is filler.
Yeah, if this
Yeah.
direct is just a bunch of ports and remasters and there isn't like any like brand new stuff from Nintendo, it's kind of like, yeah, okay.
I think that's worth celebrating.
Switch 2's come in March. Switch
Mhm.
2's
that's-
come in March. That,
I'll
they
be very
grade-
happy if that happens.
They might have another Kirby game. You never know. That's
Sure,
always
why,
like in the
yeah.
cards.
They could have a Princess Peach level
If you
game
count
come out,
that.
but
Mario
I
Party, Sonic, and
if they're
Mario and
big
Sonic.
holiday games this year, is like, oh, we got Wind Waker and a Metroid Prime bundle. I'm gonna be like, okay, see you in March.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime
releases in
what
March. Got
bundle?
it.
Metroid Prime 2 bundle?
Like, I'll be excited. I'm gonna buy the damn things, but it's kind of like, okay. Like,
I actually kind of want like us to get like, I want to get like a Metroid Prime 2 remastered, like remastered one. Like, it's been such a long time since.
That'd be cool.
It'll be nice.
Obviously, it hasn't been a really long time, but when we're talking about remasters, it's been over a year. I feel like they could have made Prime 2 kind of like Prime 1 remastered if they really wanted that. I know the rumor was that that's not what they're doing, but I'd be about it.
This
I've
is the
thought about
time
that
where
too.
all of our wallets are going to be hurting because they're going to release special editions and like collector
yeah.
editions of
oh
things.
my
Like,
god.
Metroid
I'll be
Prime
there.
Trilogy Edition, probably.
When they
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
dropping, oh, here's a Metroid OLED edition. Here's
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Wind
god!
Waker OLED
No, I have to
edition.
buy like 3 more
Oh my gosh.
Switches.
Hey, Xenoblade X. Here's a Xenoblade OLED edition. I'm just gonna be like, what are you doing to my wallet right now?
that's what they
This
did
is
with
what
the
you were doing.
3DS.
This is how you're selling 13.5 million. All of us that like to collect these special editions, you're just gonna drop every crazy special edition we've ever dreamed of in the final year.
So you guys think we're getting one more
mad.
OLED this year? We're getting one more OLED edition this year?
I think there's gonna be another special edition.
Just
Yeah.
one?
Look,
At least
I would
one.
say one. It's possible two. I would say that it could also be where there's a special OLED, but then they would also do like a special Switch Lite as well.
Yeah.
That would be nice to see.
So
We
I
might-
will
Light
say,
OLED.
I will say this though, guys, and the guys in the chat: save your money for Switch 2. Start saving now. You're gonna need at least $500. I would say
Yeah.
400 for the console. You
Yeah.
want a game, and you want maybe the next Pro controller. So
Yeah.
at least 500, maybe
Don't
550.
You got to
might
pick up
need
a memory
600.
card too.
Start saving that money. Start
this
saving your
assumes
money.
you live in the U.S. Other countries, I'm really sorry, you might need $1,000.
Yeah, you might need a little more.
Mhm.
There's that. No.
Depends on. Oh boy.
But do you
You might
think like
need
all the
a-
controllers would be compatible though? I don't think.
I think about
Well,
Bluetooth. so yeah.
reportedly, reportedly that they are compatible, but there still will be a unique controller.
Yeah, whatever
probably gonna
new
be good.
feature, microphone port, camera, I don't know, something.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I mean,
maybe
that's
they got
probably
new,
gonna be
maybe they have
expensive.
analog triggers. That
Wasn't
would
the
be
Pro
sick.
controller $70? So like, you
Yep.
know,
It
you're gonna
would
want
be
to
nice if it would be nice if you have to get a new one because of analog triggers. That I'm okay with.
Yeah, you'll need a high-speed SD card as well. So
Mhm.
yeah, probably about $600, more like it. Save your money.
All right,
Yeah,
to be fair, if 256 is the internal storage, that is enough. It should be enough to play any individual game.
except for Call of Duty.
Even Call of Duty, I think it'll fit on there because it's not going to be 4K asset Call of Duty. And even then, it's only like 100 and something gigs.
Okay,
256 is plenty.
but what if they give us a packing game?
Yeah,
Nintendo Land, Nintendo World.
I will say this: if they
Super
have a
Nintendo.
casual
save
style
your
launch
money.
game, like a Nintendo Land or a 1-2 Switch or a Wii Sports kind of thing,
Or Nintendo
please
Land.
Nintendo pack it in.
Nintendo Land.
Pack it in.
Nintendo Land will go hard.
I'm going to
love-
tell you right now.
I love
if
Nintendo
1-2
Land.
Switch was a packing game, I bet you everybody's 1-2 Switch would have been a 10 million plus seller.
I disagree. I think if 1-2 Switch was packed into Switch, the brand would have been ruined and Switch would be a failure.
What?
Yep.
Wow, big words.
I kind of agree, but I mean, Zelda launched with it, so it's
I mean,
That's what I'm
so-
saying. Like, you launch with
All
Zelda.
right. So I'm speaking in hyperbole, but I actually think 1-2 Switch would have hurt them a little bit.
I
I
do
think
too.
you got to be careful with
Yeah,
what.
are you talking about
Too-
because of the
too Wii-like.
reputation?
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to be like an adult platform that has 1-2 Switch with it?
That 1-2 Switch is just not a good game.
Well, I mean, look at the
Because they aren't
reveal
just
trailer.
rooftop parties, baby.
They had
I
like
agree.
Skyrim in
That's
the
their
reveal
Karen
trailer.
rooftop party game. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's not a good game, and you got to be careful with what game you pack in. If you pack in a crap game, it's going to
But
be.
you're not going
associated
to
with
usually you're not
console.
going to pack in a good game because it's going to sell on its own.
Well, Mario World,
Like I'll
prime
give you
example.
maybe what
Yeah.
they should do instead. Well, here's the thing, because
Free to play Metro Prime 4
the
multiplayer.
packing games typically are games that show off features of the system. That's the point. Like, if you think of like PlayStation 5, comes Astro's Playroom.
Great
Or
game.
at least you
though.
can.
That's a
have it.
good
That
that
game's
shows
really fun.
high
That's valid.
quality.
Yes.
That's not shit like 1-2 Switch.
Well, I don't think 1-2 Switch is
Damn.
actually shit. I just think you don't have friends, and that's okay.
First of all, I actually
Whoa.
played 1-2 Switch
Damn.
with several
Get 'em.
people
That's messed
several
up.
times.
Because
Several-
I played 1-2
as in
Switch with a
5 to
group. I
12.
had literally a group of 50 students, and we played 1-2 Switch together, and it was awesome. Because the
Sounds
game
like
can be
you
played with up to 100 people.
barely got to play it and actually not understand how bad it is.
What?
Yeah.
Damn.
I put a lot of time into the game.
Yep. All 3 seconds with those 50 people. You were
It's
sharing. it.
What are you talking about?
You just said I had no friends.
you really are.
You realize I was
I am
doing that
unfriending
every
you on
day
Facebook.
for like 6 months, right? With these two, anyways,
Poor guy.
I know. I was shooting at you in the face about it because I haven't played everybody's 1-2 Switch, so I can't even talk about that one. But
Oh, God.
1-2 Switch itself is a game that it's meant to be played with a ton of people. It's a party game where you literally are using your body. And to me, it's not as appealing as something like a Wii Sports. Of course, sports is just a more appealing concept. But I actually really enjoyed it a lot.
I'm sharing something.
That's fine.
If they could give us something like Astro, but
Enough
Nintendo, that would be
Enough
amazing.
said. This is all
Yeah,
already-
reviewers in their basement with a game that you should have like 20 plus people playing is something.
Hey man, why are you resorting to insults to make your argument?
I mean,
But
they
it's
did
not
give.
insults. I'm saying that the reviewers didn't actively play it with a bunch of people. That's all. I know because I read the reviews. I read the reviews and I said they don't get the point of this game.
Hey, so all right. Let me actually speak clearly without joking, right? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
1-2 Switch is a good demonstration of some of the
It's a tech
innovations that
demo.
the Joy-Cons brought, but I don't think it's representative of the Nintendo brand. And so I think including it as a pack-in would not represent the Switch and its quality well. I think with the decision they made to have it available at launch for those who want a party game, that was fine. Using it in the commercials, showing all the interesting ways to do it, the way they handled it was the right way they did it because of what it was.
Sure.
I think something like Nintendo Land would be better.
Look, I just like milking cows. It is what it is.
Maybe they could have a
You are from
milking game
Wisconsin.
in the next.
I am
whatever.
from Wisconsin.
Milking game.
Milking.
That's why he's from
They need to
Wisconsin.
add that mini game to something like Harvest Moon, and I'd be set.
The best launch games on the Switch were Breath of the Wild, and people don't maybe more consider it, but I think the best launch, one of the best was Ultra Street Fighter 2.
Oh,
Wasn't Super Bomberman R a launch game too?
Yep.
Snipper Clips.
Snipper Clips
Clips
is
is
great.
great.
Snipper Clips is
It's a
good.
great game.
That could have been a pack-in. I like packing games.
Snipper Clips would be better.
I
Snipper
don't.
Clips would have been a good.
Nintendo.
I love a packing
I just
game.
want a packing game. Like you're not gonna pack in your top tier AAA launch game. Like, you're just not gonna
No.
do that.
Oh.
But I just want like even like Nintendo Land, great game, right? Like I want
Now we're on the same page.
yes, but that's the thing. Like I want a game packed in that is good, that proves like differences with the system. You know, like
Sure.
that, like the Nintendo Land or the Wii Sports or
How do you
the
feel about Face
Astros
Raiders?
Playroom. Face Raiders was fine. I didn't think it was like the best game ever, but I mean, look, you're trying to prove AR 3D tech. You know, that's the kind of game you're going to do it with, right? It's fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people played it.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean,
just
it
like
was
Street
free.
Pass and
It
the
was in it.
Street Pass Plaza games and stuff.
Yeah, that I liked that a lot. That was cool.
Yeah, so like Nintendo has experience including some stuff like that. I wouldn't mind them doing that again. I understand that they're probably going to want to aim for targeting the young adult audience again because that's the audience they really hit on and is really big on Switch. And I think they should do that. I mean, it's possible that we could even be talking about how, hey, Nintendo Switch Sports sold well. Maybe we have a new sports title that comes out with it.
It was the perfect one though because of the gimmick of it.
Sure, yeah, with the
Yeah.
Wii Sports
Yeah.
back in the day.
So what's our
That's the thing,
gimmick
like,
gonna be?
I don't
Exactly.
think they need a packing game to prove a gimmick. I think it's just hey, you just dropped $400 on a system. Let's make sure you have something to play. That's new.
Well, something like Astro's Playroom.
Yeah, something like an Astros Playroom.
That was like a love letter to PlayStation. I mean, if you played it, I
Yeah,
beat it.
yeah.
I-
Yeah, it has so much attention to detail.
But
It's
could you
magical.
imagine Nintendo doing that?
Do a Nintendo
Like, you're-
something where you go through
even
Nintendo
better
of the
to do that.
ages.
Yeah,
Oh, that'd
you're
be
asked to
sick.
do this. Like, I would care more about the Nintendo love letter.
Dude, yeah,
than I
Nintendo
would
makes
PlayStation.
platformers. Dude, make
Exactly.
a platformer, takes advantage of the HD Rumble and all this other stuff, and you're traveling through the ages of Nintendo, starting with the color TV system that most people don't even know about.
Mhm.
Talk
that
about
would
the
be
Power
sick.
Pad.
That was sick. You go through the arcade era.
Yeah,
Oh man, dude, it would
we
be
have
sick.
such a rich history. That
was just a really cool
cool.
concept for Sony that Nintendo you just need to copy. Just rip it.
I agree. One of the rare times that Nintendo needs to copy Sony.
But I mean,
Not
Astro's
the other way
Playroom
around.
feels very Nintendo.
It does.
Like,
Yeah. It
Me
does.
playing Astro's Playroom feels like I'm watching Sony mimic Nintendo. So
It
you're
also
asking,
helps
like,
that Sony's controller is pretty impressive.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
It's just
like
an
the-
impressive that
really
dual
the-
sense
those
controller.
adaptive triggers are so good.
And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that they their Rumble is amazing.
Mhm.
It is what HD Rumble wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that
Oh, for
game.
sure.
So that game was a great game to pack in because it just showed you how great the controller was.
And also showed to be that hey, Sony can be creative. Can we get more? Oh wait, you're closing down
really
now all
were.
the studios that do games
Yeah.
like that.
Let me
it.
just speak on a Nintendo Land sequel
Sorry.
one more time.
Oh,
This
wow.
is like it's happening everywhere, by the
Yeah.
way. Xbox is even more guilty at this.
Very
stuff.
sad.
Yeah,
Rip
Xbox is-
Tango. Oh, it's so bad for Tango.
Nintendo Land Talk. I love it.
But
All
so
it is Nintendo. Can you pick them up?
Yeah.
so
Get on the
Just-
phone. They just dropped a final patch. The developers aren't snatched up yet. Let's do something.
one last time, hear me out here for a sequel to Nintendo Land as a pack-in for Switch 2. Okay, you just talked about how like it would be cool if we got to see like a packing game that showed different parts of Nintendo. A sequel to Nintendo Land where there's different sections that are based off different Nintendo IP. It's very, very easily could do that, but also consider this. Now that Super Nintendo World exists, there's a lot of cross promotion that can happen there.
True.
So
Yes,
I-
there is.
So I think there might be just a little bit more to it now as opposed to before. That's it.
You're
So
right.
a
There's more
Nintendo
reason.
Land 2.
Or Super
Call
Nintendo
it Nintendo
World.
Yeah.
because land to world. But
Sure.
yeah,
Wouldn't it be crazy if what it did was also semi-preview future additions
That'd
to
be
the
cool.
actual real world park?
Yeah, and they could
That'd
update
be
it.
cool.
They could like patch the game, and when there's new stuff coming to the park,
Very subtly, sure.
Yeah, True.
that'd be
sick.
interesting.
That would be cool.
It would have to be
Here's
good.
the thing. I think at this point, I don't know that Nintendo. I think Nintendo might never do a pack-in again. I think if there is a quote-unquote pack-in at launch, it'll be a new NSO game. It'll be like a 99 type of game. They just gets added day one. You can only play it on Switch 2 if you have NSO. And that will be their pseudo packing game.
Plus, we're all gonna have our Nintendo accounts linked, right? So we're gonna
Mhm.
have all of our games at launch anyway.
Yeah.
True.
So
Maybe a lot of free remasters, like that You King O. Maybe Breath of the Wild that it's not even something you pay for. We just have an enhanced Breath of the Wild if you're an NSO member.
I keep thinking that if Nintendo offers like the 4K or like the remastered versions of games, it would be cool, and that would be a huge boon to NSO if it's just a free upgrade if you have it.
That would be awesome.
That would be sweet. That would really boost subscriptions.
It'd be a
too.
no-brainer to get it. Yeah.
But the higher tier.
Well, yeah, they're not going to give that to you for $20 a year. I don't see that happen. That'll definitely be the top package tier. But still, even then, it would be really cool. A lot of people would say, yeah, that's great versus having to rebuy the whole game, or something like that. That would be pretty cool. I think that's one. I just, whatever they do with that, I just want the messaging to be clear. That was one thing Sony wasn't very good with the messaging of how they were going to handle upgrades to the games.
Yeah, some games are free.
And some would cost money.
Yeah.
And they at one point indicated they would all be free. And then they said, no, we're going to charge for all of it. Oh, wait, no, people are mad. So they just keep going back and forth. Like, Nintendo, just be clear.
Being
Hey, if you're not going to offer for free, but it's going to be part of NSO, just say that.
Xbox did a lot better job explaining how.
communicating.
Yeah, they had a name for it. You guys remember what that was?
No, off the top of my head, I don't.
No, I didn't buy an Xbox.
Yeah, well, their upgrade path, the way they did it was just so much better than Sony. Sony's was not good. The messaging was very confusing for a lot of people.
It
So
reminded me of the
hopefully Nintendo
messaging
can see
around the
that.
Xbox One on how you could share games. And then Sony's response was, here's how you share games.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, right.
That was classic.
Xbox messed up in some other ways, of course, chiefly just not having games to play. But